We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
Something big about to happen. I hear the beat tapping.
We some fly rhyming felines rapping on the track. Better yet, grab a gat, cause we hot like Enzo. Doors closed, windows up, cause that's the way we like to ride. Windy City hitting. Check mic 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Hey, Lemanda.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really well. How about you?
I'm well. I just like to take a moment, Miss Hip Hop, to thank you for inviting me, and looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, so am I. All right, let's get started in a few minutes. I'm just waiting for more folks to come in here. Okay, let's see. Yep. All right. I'm not sure how many people are in here in this calendar. Hi, everybody. For those that are in here, before we get started, I'd just like to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for, coming out tonight and listening to Sober Talk Wednesday with Miss Hip Hop and Lemanda. Ooh. I love that name, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I want to introduce Lemanda to the show because I just came across her page one day and I just saw the inspiration jumping from the page. You know how sometimes you feel a connection with a person and you say, oh, I got to talk to this person. This person is really cool, down to earth, you know? And that's how I felt with Lemanda. So I'm like, okay, well, let me ask her to come on the show to talk about all of this motivation that she has built up inside of her, because she just started making videos out like bam, 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 bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I guess looking back on it now, it was that way, right? And I appreciate you pointing out the inspiration. There was a lot of inspiration behind just considering coming on to TikTok, and I'm sure at some point in this session we'll get into that. But I'm really glad you came across my page, and again, thank you for the invite.
For sure. Blessed to have you here. And you guys out there, please follow Lemanda if you like the conversation, and follow me as well for more interviews with famous TikTokers like Lemanda. Okay? So let's get to it. Now, here's Speak Your Mind Radio. This is from my personal page on TikTok, but we start off each and every interview with the icebreaker question for the guest. So, Lemanda, what is your story with your cats on TikTok? I love
it. My cats, man, those are my riders. I ride for them, let me tell you. So my lighter cat, he's tan and white. That is Cielo, and his nickname is Cielo the Supervisor. Okay, he's got his own character. And then we got my dude, my newest dude. I've had him almost a year now. That's Sueño the Sweetheart, and that's his character. And my cats, dude. Let me look. In the middle of COVID, my work duties heightened. I was an essential worker, basically at the front line of serving our community, as I work for a transformational facility, an emergency homeless shelter, the largest one in the nation. Okay, and by the time my work was done, when it died down, when we had planned out this whole plan to keep everyone safe, I realized I was sitting at home alone, isolated and disconnected, and the world had pretty much shut down, and I was having some feels about that. So there was this cat on my campus, this kitten, that I just fell in love with immediately, and he became Cielo. And he eventually, over time, became my emotional emotional support animal. Like, when I say he's my rider, I ride for this dude. Like, I cannot live without him. And then, of course, he needed his own emotional support. So Sueño came into the picture. Him, meowing all day, waiting for me to come home in the window was not ideal and good for his mental well-being. So I hooked him up with Sueño. But, yeah, they're like my kids, and they're a joy and a pleasure to have and a privilege to have, I think that they take care of me just as much as I'm privileged to take care of them. So that's my spiel on my kiddos.
Well, that's a beautiful story, especially coming up from isolation in the pandemic. Yeah, the animals do help you with comfort, and not only are they comforting each other, they're comforting their mother, you. So cool.
Cat mom all day.
For sure. All right, so Lemanda, tell us where you're from and what drives you as a social media influencer.
Where I'm from, so I'm from Cali. I can't name a specific part. I've lived from SoCal to NorCal, all over Cal. I'm just straight Cal, right? And I actually reside now in San Antonio, Texas, and I've been here almost 7 years. And, during the course of 7 years, before last May, I was off social media for 4 years. No Facebook, no Twitter, no TikTok for sure, or Snapchat. What? I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that had to do with, back in the early 90s when AOL came out and it was hosted by CompuServe. I was there. That, dial-up tone, I was a part of that era. And so social media had been a part of my life for a long time. And then it just got to a point where it was like, you know what, I can't keep up. I got other things to prioritize, right? And what inspired me to get back onto social media was the influence of my peers who kind of observed some things about me, right? My inspiration, my motivation, my drive, the impact I have on other people. And for several months, if not a couple of years, hey, when are you going to get on social media? Or you should get on social media. And it wasn't until last May that I came across a hummingbird. And I should have pinned it to the top of my videos, but if you go all the way back to the beginning of my videos, even somewhere in the middle of my videos, you'll find a video of me with a hummingbird. And it's not just me of a hummingbird with a hummingbird. It's me holding a hummingbird. It's a hummingbird flying out of my hand, and it's a hummingbird flying back to me. And that was my very first TikTok video because I was encouraged, the world needs to see this, right? And I had to sit with that for a little while because here I am, abstinent from social media. My mind is good. I'm in a good place. I have real life connection, IRLs, right? In real life, peace in my life. And that's a good place to be. And it was the funniest thing too, because it happened on the campus of the organization I work for. And so my form of social media at that time was, hey, you want to see this video? I went to each colleague's office and I'm trying to show them this amazing video that had such an impact on a lot of people. People were brought to tears. People shared stories about their loved ones passing. People shared, their symbolism of a hummingbird. And I really had to get out of self and make a decision that, maybe this is for the world to see. And so that video was my very first TikTok video. It did go viral considering I had no followers, and it was my first video. Within a matter of 24 hours, it had 35,000 views and 1,000 something likes. And so it just stayed like that for a little while. And I knew for some time people wanted to hear me kind of share about my sobriety and the spin that I put on it. And so really the inspiration came from this real life modern day Snow White sitting right here.
That is so sweet. Now I gotta say this before I forget. The hummingbird video that went viral, how come you don't have that pinned to your page for people to, when they come across your page, that's the first thing that they see since it's so inspirational?
I do from time to time. I do, and I'll put a remix on it. I think that as I've grown in, among the TikTok platform, right? There's a couple of really important things that people need to know about you. They need to know who you are, why you're here and what you're set out to do, right? What that aim is. And so, in the pinned videos, I would like for people to get to know who I am. And over time, it's, once you start learning content and a strategy behind it, I could repost that video with a different song attached to it. Right now, it's got Nappy Roots, Gonna Have a Good Day. Yeah. So, I could go remix that to a different tune and gain another 500-600, views, likes, whatever out of it, right? So the strategy behind that is I'll pull it out once in a while, but people do come across it and they are impacted by it. And it's always such a joy and a pleasure to know that's my first TikTok, So
yeah, that's cool, Lemanda. Just how symbolic the hummingbird in your hand that flew out your hand and came back to you again. It was meant for you to have this space right now, today, here on the show and on TikTok. Period.
Divine inspiration. I absolutely agree. After that experience, I was literally on a spiritual high. I was overflowing. Like, words could not contain the way that I felt, because you wake up in your day and you think about your day, right? And you're like, oh yeah, and then at this time, at this hour, at this minute, right? I'm gonna have a hummingbird in my hand, right? That was the universe working in my favor, knowing that at this point in my life, I was going to get to have that experience, and that I can't find anything like it anywhere else on the internet. So, yeah, very, very, very impactful to me, and it really put me in a position. If I'm being transparent, it really put me in a position, to sit down and have a real talk with, my understanding of a loving God. And I've known for some time the gifts that I have with regard to the motivation I exude, the inspiration I drive people with, the vulnerability and the transparency that I operate from, and I really had to consider, am I keeping these gifts? Am I being selfish by not sharing what I have to offer, knowing that I've had these for some time, right? And so yeah, listen, that bird, Jalapeno is his name. Jalapeno. And the dude will live forever. Thanks to that bird, I am here.
Amen. I love it. Well, since we're on a spiritual journey as we speak about your experience coming back to social media, talk about, like the ups and downs of, like, what's your definition of a mental break when it comes to social media?
I think it's different for everyone. I can definitely speak to what it looks like and feels like for me. And, I really have to question what my motives are on social media. Am I doing it for clout? Am I doing it for attention? And what is my aim here? What am I doing it for, right? And the moment that it becomes so elevated up here that I'm forgetting to take time, that most important, precious time, first thing in the morning, to sit and be still and know, right? I'm in a world of trouble, right? Picking up the phone first thing in the morning, scrolling to see how many likes I got, how many views I got, right? I'm in trouble. And so that's a clear indicator to me that I need to take a step back and take some time and reevaluate my situation and reprioritize what's really important in my life. My journey of sobriety in April, it will be 7 years, God willing, and He's a good God, and I know I'll get there, right? But I didn't come this far for me to be taken out by the egocentric behaviors that social media can permit us to have by finding an identity in our content, in our likes, in our audience, in our following, right? And so I'm very well aware, and this is a portion of the reasons why I stepped back several years ago and said, there's something more for me, and I got to focus on that, and I got to be meditative in that, right? Intentional. And so yeah, there's, when those start creeping up into my life, I start feeling a mental shift and a spiritual shift and an emotional and even a physical shift, man. I think I made a TikTok several weeks ago, and it was so much fun to make because it was so real and true. And it's like, I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling. All of a sudden I hear the birds chirping and I'm like, oh, fuck, I fucked up, right? I was supposed to be on here to share about my journey of sobriety, and here I am scrolling till 6 a.m.
Come on, girl.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, how sober-minded am I really?
Yes.
If I'm hyper-focused on what's going on in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, a mental break for me, those are some clear indicators. You know, if I'm forcing my content, I got a problem. You know, we on this platform so much are inundated with, you got to post every day, you got to post every day, you got to, but really though, do you? I mean, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, the people who are following, do they really know me based off of that 1 or 2 videos that I posted for the day?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because how many times are you finding a content creator that you see on the FYP, and then all of a sudden you're in their platform kind of going through all their videos?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of creators that really draw us in that way, right? So
Right.
It takes time for a follower to get to know a creator and find trust in the consistency of the content of that creator. And I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
So
Speaking
yeah.
of, oh, I'm sorry. But speaking of which, I saw one of your videos where one of your followers asked you a question, and I'm going to relate that question back to you right now. What difference does it make to have a huge following when the following doesn't follow your values?
Right. There is a huge difference. You know, I've been to grow parties. I've been a part of grow chains. You know, I've been in the chat battles where you're chunking money. So you're that creator at the very top, you know, showing off like, hey, I just pumped you a galaxy. I'm probably not going to have lunch tomorrow because I spent it on you, son. Right? Like, let's be real about it, right? These are marketing tactics which can be useful when the aim suits you, right? But if my aim at the end of the day is just to have a massive amount of following because it looks good, then I'm in the wrong headspace. You know, over time, you know, what I would love for my followers to know more than anything is me, all of me. And the cool part about, I'm not a major creator by any means, but to my followers, I am. To my followers, I am somebody because of the relation and the connection and the intention behind what I get to know about them and what they learn to know about me. But I need to be present among my followers in order to do that. And if I'm so occupied with gaining more followers all the time, like, where am I really spending the time to learn to know the ones that I have now? And so one of the intentions I've you know, recently been practicing is I will go through my followers now and I will just randomly scroll and pick several, and I'll go get into their platform and I'll go through their videos and I'll start liking and commenting and sharing out. And I don't know how long they've been there, but I need them to know I know they're there. I see you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
That's beautiful. That's so important. Like, from the followers to the creator, like, do they see me? Like, is it a one-side relationship or whatever? And with you, it doesn't feel that way, you know?
It's personal.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I love
welcome
that.
to my house.
Yes.
Yeah. There's been a lot of inspiration behind, you know, that. I didn't come up with that. I've adopted that behavior, right? Because someone did that for me. And there are creators on here, you know, I've unfollowed some major creators. I'm like, bro, I know you see me. I like all your stuff. I'm in your videos. As soon as they come out, I know you see me, but you can't respond. You can't respond with a like. You can't respond with a comment. You're never on my page. I now know I'm just a follower. You know, I'm not someone that you value because you have learned my value I see in you, right? And
Wow.
So I have there are a couple of creators out there that blow my mind because they're big and they are followed and they are loved and they engage. I mean, they like, they follow, you know, they respond to messages.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to forget that feel, because the feedback that I get on my platform is I've had people say, "Wow, I didn't think you were going to respond," and I have to hold that for a second, and ask myself, what have you been through for you to think that? It's neither here nor there. After a moment or two, here we are, right? And I'm so glad you showed up. Thank you for showing up for me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I mean, I know I keep saying thank you, but I mean, it's just the genuality for me. You feel me? Like, that's what I like about a person. I like to see someone sincere and real, you know? So Lemanda, tell us, like, what are your major goals for the beginning of 2022?
Woo! Man, you know what? Coming into 22, I came in with COVID. And after 2 years of not having it and working closely with people who were potential for COVID, I got COVID, and what a joy that was, right? I got to hold that experience, and I got to, you know, what I've learned in this life I live today, right? Because I've lived many lives. This is literally the best life that I've ever lived. Is that I get to use everything as an experience, and it's relatable, because somewhere down the road, somebody is going to need to know that they're not alone, right? And so to be able to speak to, like, what it's like when your bones hurt and your blood's hurt because you're caught up with COVID, right? That was a blessing for me to come into the year with, because I had a damn good year, 2021. And so when I see my life go through challenges and speed bumps like that, I'm like, woo, something good is coming. Let's go, right? And so my intentionality coming into 2022 was, I want to get into the NFT world. I want to start understanding what these NFTs are. I see it all over TikTok. People are crazed about it. There's some really, really radical looking art out there. I don't quite understand how it all works, and so my intention was to come in and start exploring that, right? And on Christmas Day, I was picked up by an NFT project that asked me to help support their movement by becoming a community manager for them in a Discord. And I'm like, bro, I just got here. And they're like, no, it's good. We vibe you. We feel you. You understand? And so I've been working with them. And also in the meanwhile, you know, if you don't know anything about the NFT world, there's a lot to it. There is a lot of numbers attached to it, to include the certificate number that comes with, you know, minted NFT, right, on the blockchain, to include the price of an NFT, to include the gas fees. I mean, there's just all kinds of numbers attached to it, right? And I knew over time I was gonna have to budget my monies to purchase this JPEG. Whatever JPEG this was. But aside from that, I had a responsibility to walk through the journey and fully understand what comes with this world if I'm going to be sharing it out, right? So lo and behold, I didn't know that not only would I be exploring the NFT world, but my impatience paired up with frustration. I have no idea how I have the drive that I have, but I have it, okay? And one day I said, I'm going to create my own NFT. Like, I'm just going to do it, right? And so I downloaded Procreate to my iPad, and I started exploring and beginning to understand how that worked. And I did it. And I minted my very first NFT. It's called Cotton Candy Drip. It is my day one. It's one of one. It ain't going nowhere. I'm keeping it forever. But I think that over time, as I'm, you know, inspired by different portions of what this life is delivering me on a day-to-day basis, whether it be through social media or in real life, interactions, I'm discovering new things about myself and what brings me joy. And so my intention for the year 2022 is just go with the flow. Go wherever the joy takes you and let it be, right? And so lately I've just kind of been into drones.
Okay.
You know, that type of photography and creating videos and drawing and learning that I have some skill set with that and kind of working out in my mind what can I do with these things? Where else will I go with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what going with the flow looks like for me.
Well, I definitely think that a lot of content creators like myself can take from you and learn just to go with the flow, you know? So, you being into NFTs and exploring your technology fields within you, your creative skills with writing and drawing, I think, shoot, girl, by time next year, you're going to be on a whole different playing field.
I don't know what's coming, but I know it's good and I know it's big and I know it's for me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, life's a joy, man. This is a really fun ride at this point in my life, and it only gets better. It's only up from here.
That's right. Only up, Lemanda. All right. Now I want to ask you, since we're on the subject of creating, do you have any tips for any other social media influencers out there?
I think that the best experience I can give to a creator is what I've learned and what I've been fearless in is being authentic, right? Be yourself. Because the moment you start being someone else, people can sense that. It's like this, right? And what I've really been inspired by is the encouragement of just punch the post. Just do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter how imperfect the video might look. It doesn't matter the lighting. It doesn't matter if you hiccup in the video, right? It doesn't matter if the background is all nice and the way you want it to. Just punch the post, because what you're gonna find, if you experience anything the way that I've experienced, is that the videos that I least thought would have any traction actually had the most traction. Mm-hmm. And you never know, you know. I'm a paid creator for Facebook. I get paid for my digital content for the reels that I create on Facebook. And I'll tell you right now, right. I'm not even a year back onto the scene, and you know, Facebook I'm one of their first paid creators in this $1 billion fund that they have going on for 2022, right? And
wow.
What I'm learning through their analytics too is that you have no idea which content is just going to skyrocket, right? Or affect someone or impact someone. Look, all that matters is I get one view, and if I get one like out of it, that's fantastic. I just need to be seen, and as long as my authentic self is out there, I can't go wrong.
Right. Definitely. And that's what we talked about, just being true to you and honest with yourself and true and authentic. That's like the best way to go, and that's how you gain a huge following, because people want something that they can tangible, you know, something they can look up to, basically, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the special, unique feature about TikTok that doesn't come on their dashboard of settings, right? It's a vibe. You come to TikTok and you can increase. I've heard creators talk about this, and I absolutely agree. It's like, on this platform, come as you are. That picture perfect looking, like behind the scenes doll-like scene, that doesn't work here. You understand? It doesn't work here. That's not the communication. That's not the frequency here. And come as you are and be celebrated, and inevitably there will be a following who's just going to absolutely adore you and support you and want to be wherever you are, because you're right there with them.
Yeah, basically. And that's why I'm here right now, Lemanda. So
well, I sure appreciate the opportunity.
For sure. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, look, I want to wrap this up with another ending of an icebreaker question I just thought of. All right, check this out. What is your favorite title of a song right now, Lemanda?
Woo! All right, so that's pretty easy. That is going to be.
It's freezing. No.
Feelings by Sarat. Feelings by Sarat Dermot. Feelings by Sarat Dermot. Serat. Yes.
Okay, so it just froze up for a minute, but you said Feelings by Sarat.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta look that up. Searta.
Yeah. I might be able to, if you'd like, I could pull out my iPad and throw that on. But yeah, I've literally had that on repeat all day. Music is a meditative space for me to be in, right? And depending on the words or the frequency of the music, like, it physically impacts me and puts me in a place to, like, I've had these visions all day, right, of where I'm going. Like, I know where I'm going because I see it enough. It's just a matter of taking the next step. And music really has a way for me to induce that vision, induce that drive, induce that motivation, and keep me in that headspace to not stop and to keep going. I'm sounding a little 8 Mile here, but that's what it is, right? Okay. Lose yourself in the moment, you own it, right?
Yeah.
And never let it go, right? And so that pans into the punch the post, right? Don't operate from a place of fear, but operate from a platform of possibility. Right. Yeah.
You gave out some great advice and shedded a lot of light on who you are as more than just a content creator. I hope we together can get a lot of followings for being real and authentic in ourselves, So yeah.
Absolutely. Never forget, real. The acronym for real is reality evolving around love. You can't lose with that.
I love that. Reality revolving love.
Yeah, it's one of two things. And I've been using that for well over a decade. You could be one or two things in this life. You can be real love or you could be real lies. Reality evolving around lies. What's your choice going to be, right? You could be a love or you could be a lie.
For sure.
I come in love.
I accept. All right. Thank you so much, Lemanda, for coming on Speak Your Mind Radio. I had a blast talking to you and really getting to know you. And I wish you nothing but the best vibes possible, and to continue on going higher and higher in your journey of life.
Appreciate that. Thanks for the opportunity. Godspeed.
For sure. Peace out. Thanks, guys. Love you.